we have to talk about Bitcoin because, as you can see, Bitcoin is now at 2% up in the last 24 hours, but it has been recovering a little bit more in the last week here. We went all the way down to like 81K, and now we went all the way back up to 89K, but now we're sitting around 87. So I'm going to talk about what I think is next here because we have broken out of a bullish pattern, but it's completely up to the market if we keep this and whether or not it's going to continue to be bullish. But the falling wedge is bullish, and we have just now, well, not necessarily falling wedge, but we have the bullish expanding triangle, which is like the opposite, but it's still the same thing. But we're going to talk about this, guys. We're going to talk about what I think is coming next because we also have a lot of fear, but a lot less fear than what we had before. So that's a little bit better. But let's talk about this. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. But going over some numbers here with Bitcoin in the last week, now we're only down 4.1%. So I think that's pretty good now because it was a lot more before. But we went back up a little bit, so it's a little better. And then you can see we are down 16.7% in the last 2 weeks. And then in the last month, we're still down 22% inside of Bitcoin. So that's a lot of selling pressure that we've been seeing here. And like I said before, like the fear and greed index here, it went all the way down to 10, which is extreme fear. And now it's at 15. 15 is still technically extreme fear. So we're still in extreme fear territory, but it's just not down as bad as it was before. Now, looking at the prices here with Bitcoin, when we look at it, it does look like we could have another breakout cooking up, but it's only a possibility. We did break out of this bullish expanding triangle here to the upside, so that's a pretty bullish sign in itself. But overall, when you think about it, we are technically still in a downtrend. So this same thing has happened before when we thought we did like a double bottom here, but it ended up not being a double bottom. And it kind of was, and then they got rejected up here at that resistance and they kept selling. So just like we came out of this bullish pattern, because a double bottom is also a bullish pattern, as you can see, is the bullish double bottom. That's what people call it. But just like how we came out of the double bottom up there and broke out to the upside, we're doing the same thing here with the bullish expanding triangle. We're still coming out to the upside here. So it's still technically like a bullish pattern, right? We're still coming on the upside. So yes, we could continue this and we could possibly get here, but we could still get rejected at 94K, or we could get rejected before we even reach 94K. So you got to remember that. Anything that you're hearing people saying that this is the beginning of altcoin season, all this blah blah blah, those people, nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So they're saying things are going to take off. That's just their prediction, but nobody really knows if it's going to happen. But they can have those predictions. But yeah, you just can't know inside this market right now. Something that I like to look at a lot is the %R trend exhaustion. Typically, when we see the short-term trend, which is the white line here, outpacing the long-term trend, that's actually pretty bearish, and that is showing that the price is going to come down because the short-term trend is going to come back down. It's the same thing that happened before and before and before and before. It always happens. So when you come back here and you look at what happened here, it's the same thing. As you can see, we thought it was going to start breaking out here, but it didn't. Why did it not? If you come all the way back here, you can see the same thing happened with the %R trend exhaustion. The short-term trend broke out way past the long-term trend. The long-term trend didn't do much. We're kind of seeing the same thing right now. So the short-term trend here is far outpacing the long-term trend, which means the short-term trend is going to come back down. The price is going to start dropping. I wouldn't be surprised if we seen the price go down to 85K within the next day or two, even by today, maybe. But yeah, we could see it go down to 85K. And then if it breaks 85K, that's pretty much the bears taking over. If it bounces off 85K and continues to the upside, then I think that is a bullish scenario for Bitcoin. By the way, this is the 4-hour chart. So we got a good amount of buying pressure on the MACD, but it is selling off a bit. And then if we come over here to the daily chart, much different story. So the selling pressure has slowed down a little bit here on the MACD, but remember it could start back up anytime. right? You never really know with it. But then we also have the daily chart for the percent R trend exhaustion as well. And it's kind of coming off of this oversold area. So if it continues to the upside, that's pretty bullish, but we don't know if it gets rejected here. We don't know if it gets rejected here. So either one of those could happen. And also, we don't know if the short-term trend breaks out and then the long-term trend starts to trade sideways and then downwards, kind of like how it is on the shorter time frames. If something like that played out, then we would see the price temporarily increase and then it would have a major drop inside of the price. So we'll see if that is also a scenario. But yeah, this is the daily chart here. So yeah, again, I think a pullback to 85K could be coming soon. And if that happens, I would definitely be expecting some type of larger pullback if that happens. But yeah, that's just what I got there for the daily chart. Now we're on the weekly chart here. And then this is interesting. If this continues to go downwards here, then yeah, we're definitely selling off, right? But if we see this thing kind of curving up, this similar to how it was here and here, because it can break past it just a little bit, because it did here a little bit, and you can see how we're breaking past it just a little bit. But if it could just curve upwards now, right, the percent R trend exhaustion on the weekly chart, then we could be inside of a bullish pattern, right? Possibly, we could. So we got to see if something like that's going to happen. But in the meantime, all we can really do is wait, and all anyone out there can do is speculate on what's going to happen. Now, if I were just to give my personal opinion here on what could happen, which doesn't really matter because, again, it doesn't really matter what anybody thinks. What's going to happen is going to happen, right? But personally, I do believe that we could have another pullback coming in. I just feel like we've broken the structure that we've already had. Each of these drops have been about 32%, right? And now the third one that we just had is a 36% drop. This is a 36% drop so far. And if it goes down to 75K, then we have an even larger one. But it's not 32. It would have been 32 if it would have stopped at 85K. But the price went lower than 85K all the way down to 80K. So that's what put it all the way down to a 36% drop. And then on top of that, if you look back here, these are both bullish patterns. I mean, we got a bull flag down here, and then we have a falling wedge right here. And then right here was the only break in the structure, just like the 36% drop that broke the structure just now. This is a bearish expanding triangle. The bearish expanding triangle is this one right here. It goes to the upside like that and expands, almost like a crocodile mouth or something. And that is the bearish expanding triangle. And you can see that is how we broke down in the first place. We went down through a bearish expanding triangle. And now, as you can see, we are inside of a bullish expanding triangle that we just broke out. Now, it could continue to the upside, but again, if it gets rejected, it could continue downwards. Because remember, the first thing in the first place, like, we got put inside of this bearish momentum because of this right here, this bearish expanding triangle, and obviously other financial stuff, right? But purely technical, when we come out of this bearish expanding triangle, you know, we're coming down to support. And because it wasn't 85K, it's not the same 32% as before. And this was also a bullish signal that sent us there in the first place, which means I think that it could go down a little bit further. So that's kind of how I'm feeling. I think we could see it go down to 74K possibly, and then have another relief rally, right? Relief rally. Because we've seen stuff like this happen before. Even in the last pump, you can see when you come all the way back here, the same exact thing happened where we thought that was it, right? And then it was like, nope. It went all the way down to 78K, right? It went all the way down to 78K. And then it broke out and went all the way back up to 94K. Just to go all the way back down to 76K. To then go all the way back up to 88K, and then to go all the way back down to 74K again, and doing a double bottom. Double bottoms are bullish signals. This is a double bottom right here, and you can see when it did that double bottom, that was the bullish signal that sent it going. So that was at 74K, and that was the bottom of the last one. So if we do stop anywhere, I believe will stop at 74K because of that. So I think 74K, and that's like close to the top of it actually is the top of the last one before this, right? Because we had three pumps this cycle, three major pumps this cycle. This was the first major one with the first major consolidation. This is the second major pump with the major consolidation. And then this was the third major pump that we just had with the major sell-off. And now after the sell-off comes the consolidation. So we are probably not just going to go straight up to the moon. If it is still bullish, we might see it come down a little more. We might see it go down to 30 or to 74K, right? And we might see it break out like it's doing now, get rejected like before, go down to 74K, might go back up to 87K, back down to 74. No, anything can happen like that. And like I just showed you back here, that's exactly what happened before. The same exact thing, really. So you can't really make any assumptions to it. But anyways, that's why, I like to look at what happened previously, because that's really going to show you, what is possible to happen again if we do have another rally, right? If there is another rally in price, then that's the possibility of it happening, right? But anyways, this is pretty much all I got for you guys today. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this. All that good stuff. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anyways, go ahead and become a member of the channel, guys. It's only $9.99 per month. And you can have me go over any stock or crypto as long as it's not some type of low cap scam coin or something. I'll go over it. All you got to do is become a member and leave a comment in any one of my videos. Let me know. But yeah, shout out to you guys. As always, I'll be back with another video.